Welcome to the Brokers Open Podcast.
On this episode of Brokers Open Podcast, we sit down with John Gammon of the Tribe team. We talk about Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, how to take athletics and community and turn them into a solid real estate business, and much more.
Hey guys, this episode is brought to you by our friends at Palm Media. Palm Media is a boutique digital marketing company built for realtors by realtors. They help agents and teams dominate a target market with specific, tailored strategies. Everything from video, chatbots, landing pages, Facebook ads, database management, and coaching. And oh my gosh, it is way more affordable and simple than you could ever imagine. Call now for 100% free strategy session, whether you have a budget or not. Dr. Ben, my good friend, will make sure that you are heading in the right direction, building your presence online, or flat out crushing your competition. Before you spend a dime on marketing, door knocking, or sending out postcards, call Palm Media, 813-765-7706, 813-765-7706, or click the link in the description below. Manifest your paradise.
Well, happy Friday. It's
Podcast Friday.
That's right. I
Here
feel like
we
it's
go.
the rainforest out.
Yep, absolutely. To keep people from knocking on the front door, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So we got the man, the myth, the legend, John Gammon with
I know,
us.
right?
How you doing?
Part of the Tribe team.
Part of the Tribe team, Bucks and Lightning fanatic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Grew up
Absolutely.
in the Bay.
Right.
Tell us a little about your upbringing. You know, your family. Where were you born? All that good stuff. Give it to us.
Okay, cool. Born here in Tampa. Moved to Safety Harbor when I was 3, so
Nice.
been in Safety Harbor ever since. A couple stints outside of the state, Georgia and Michigan, but other
Right.
than that, Safety Harbor all the way. So I'm biased when it comes to Safety Harbor. I think it's
Right.
the best city in the world.
Nice.
That's
Um,
awesome. Safety Harbor's great.
Family-wise, grew up in a divorced household. My parents got divorced when I was 3, and then they actually got back together. And
Oh, wow,
got
cool.
remarried. So
I didn't know
we
that.
could go into a lot more depth on that conversation, but I think that's just a drop the mic right there. They actually got back together.
Nice.
So that was kind of cool.
That's
it was
neat.
Absolutely.
it was good and bad at the same time. You know, the
Yeah.
problems, the reasons they got divorced were still there,
Yeah.
but they knew that it was better to be together
Yeah,
and
that's
work it
awesome.
out. So
Do-
that was
doing
cool.
the right thing.
It was cool.
I came from a divorced household, and my parents divorced young too. I think it kind of builds something inside of you as a youngster. We talked a little bit about that with Chaby.
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm actually going to have lunch with him today.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're
Nice.
going to the right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the event. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the youngest of 6 divorced parents.
Really?
Stepdad. Yeah.
Okay.
When did your parents get divorced?
So I wouldn't know my dad if I saw him. So he's been out of the picture the entire time.
Yep.
And so my oldest brother, you know, I'm like I said, I'm the youngest of 6. There's a one knucklehead brother, and then twins, a boy and a girl twin, and then a brother, and then me. Right. And everybody else is real close together. And then 4 years later, oh crap, there's another one.
Here comes
He's gonna be a headache.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents, both of them had previous marriages before their marriage too. So they've been product of, I guess, 3 marriages, but 1 to the same person.
Yeah,
And I'm my mom's only child. And my
Mm-hmm.
dad has a daughter. So my half sister, she's 43. So
Are you guys
but she-
close?
no, not at all. She grew up in Kentucky, always lived there.
Okay.
And I always lived here. So
Right.
not close.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to get into all that, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like you said, it puts something in you.
It does.
Coming from something
think
that's
so. It
broken,
shapes you, man.
It does. It really shapes you.
You
And
grow up quicker than normal, I think.
Yeah.
You really
I agree.
do, and I think for getting to know people and stuff like that, especially as for me, and maybe for you, I don't know. You only child?
No.
You're not an only child, and you're definitely not an only child.
No.
6 people.
But I am the damn favorite.
The baby is always
According
the
to
favorite.
all the brothers and the sister, I'm the favorite. I think the sister thinks she's the favorite, but
This is on recording, yeah.
yeah, that's right. So let's put it out there. Maybe we'll get some comments on that.
Yeah, as my mom's only, I am my mom's favorite. I can confidently say
There's no
that.
doubt.
There's no doubt in the world.
And her least favorite.
All at the same time.
Exactly. Now that I'm married, my wife might be her favorite.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
well, I can still
That's a
take the
good
cake.
problem to have, bro.
It is.
Right?
That's a real
Absolutely.
good problem to have.
Absolutely.
But being an only child, you have to, and in a divorced household, you have to get out and meet people, whether it be in the neighborhood or whether it make friends at
Yep.
school, just to have something to hang on to. Because you go home to one parent
Yeah,
and
right.
no siblings.
Right.
So I had to make friends quick and
Right.
fast and in lots of different arenas and areas just to have some sort of relationship. So
And single parents are working usually, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So they're out there doing what they have to do in order to provide, right? So
Yeah.
the kid kind of, not that all of them are latchkey, right? But the kid is out there, like you said, you're having to not fend for yourself, but you're having to adapt pretty damn quick to what's going on.
yeah, even when my parents got back together, they both worked full time.
Yep.
Yeah.
My dad at the airport, my mom, many different jobs, sales jobs,
Yeah, all the
everything. And so I was making my own dinners and stuff
yeah.
like that.
Early on, yeah.
At 8, 9, 10 years old.
That's such a blessing in disguise.
It
I
is.
know that when
It's pretty well disguised, though.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
kids, you feel like you're going through the worst thunderstorm. That I remember those emotions that kind of came through it.
Right.
As a young adult, in my 30s, I always look back to being a kid and attributing, early success to that environment.
Yeah.
Right.
I grew up so quick.
Forced independence.
Yeah.
I mean, my wife jokes about it all the time with me. I'm like, not the forgotten child, right? But I was the one that was the youngest. There was the biggest gap.
Yeah.
Everybody else was growing up pretty quick, all that kind of stuff and everything. Parents are having to have their life and all that kind of stuff. And then there's like, oh yeah, that other one, right? But you gotta really quickly, you gotta get your feet underneath you. You gotta do what you need to do. And my brothers and everybody, and my sister and I are all real close.
Right.
There's no issues with them. The spouses are all good people.
Yeah.
Everybody did the stuff that they needed to do. It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. I'm sure for you, being 4 years younger than everybody else too, you had to grow up even faster to try to catch up
Oh, yeah.
to all them.
Yeah, I joke all the time.
That's
about
cool though.
I'd never thought that there was a Santa Claus, right? I mean, little kids out there, you need to turn.
Yeah.
Oh,
Spoiler alert.
We gotta preface this video now.
Spoiler alert.
Well, I have a little Santa Claus.
Wah, wah, wah.
So but I never really thought that there, I never really thought that there was, right? So
Cynical child.
I know, right? Imagine that. So but my brothers and everything, they would joke about learning it on the street, and I'm like, at least you got the opportunity to learn it on the street. My brother got in a fight on the basketball court, figuring out that there was no Santa Claus, and I was like, y'all argue about that and complain about that, but
Yeah.
I knew early on. A lot of things I knew early on. Keeping this PG-13.
My
There's a lot of things
I
knew
never
early on.
thought there was a Santa Claus either.
You
so-
never did?
No, my mom said she couldn't lie to me. She
Well,
felt
that's
bad.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if that's really lying. I don't know. I mean, I think you could have let me believe it, at least for a little bit.
Yep.
I'm a grown man, and I still remember exactly where I was when I was told that there was no Santa Claus.
Oh, gosh, don't
It
cry.
was
wow.
devastating. It was at
Don't cry.
Countryside Mall. It was at Westfield Plaza
Right.
now,
Yeah.
right across from your office.
Right.
I'll never forget it. I was walking down the mall with my mom. I look at her and said, "Friends in school say that Santa's not real." And she looks at me and she just kind of took a long enough pause, and I knew right then at that pause that
yeah.
it was she was reeling. I'm like, "Ah!" And I think when we were Christmas shopping and stuff, it just rips the soul right out of you.
I don't want to shop anymore.
5 minutes later, he's sitting on Santa's lap anyways.
Yeah. Fuck it. I know it's real.
That's right.
I'm gonna sit on this creepy dude's lap.
The picture.
This is when I was 17, by the way.
It's a little old to be sitting on Santa's lap.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
He hadn't hit his growth spurt yet at 17.
Yeah, I hadn't hit puberty yet.
Right, that's right. Late bloomer.
Oh, gosh.
So my son, we were talking about the Easter Bunny, and I said
Wait,
something.
he's not real either?
So I
my
said
God.
something. I said something about it and everything, and I kind of looked at him and I said, what about the baskets with the Easter Bunny and everything? And he's like, "Dad, what do you think, Dad?" I think some 6-foot rabbit's running out going, "Hey kid, I did it." And I'm like, all right, good stuff. You say anything to your sister, I'll kill you.
Oh my God.
That's awesome.
So funny.
Smart kid.
Yeah.
All right, so talk to us about growing up. So you lived in Safety Harbor.
Talk to us about the easy side of growing up.
Yeah.
Not all these hard memories we're trying to get out of everybody.
I know.
The easy side of growing up is I came from two very athletic parents.
All right.
Mom was a cheerleader. She did other things like sports growing up too, like gymnastics type stuff. And my dad played everything
Right.
growing up in Louisville in the 50s. So he's a little bit older. But
Right.
like literally back then, kids would go.
Oh, yeah.
Both parents were working if it was middle class, lower middle class, and kids would just play outside.
Oh,
They
yeah.
would sometimes never
Till the
come
dinner bell
home,
rang.
Right.
or never come home, and they would be at their friend's house, go to school the next morning. So it's a different type of thing. But he grew up playing everything, and
Yeah.
so his dream for me and my mom's dream for me was always just to play sports and just
Mhm.
always be active, especially with no siblings.
Love
So
it.
I grew up anything with a ball.
Yep.
I played
Right.
anything with a ball. So
I was the
soccer.
exact same.
Yeah, soccer, basketball were my two favorites growing up, and the two best sports. Later got into volleyball really a lot, and that was great.
Yeah.
Volleyball's fun.
Love volleyball,
Indoor volleyball, beach volleyball, either one. They're just
Yeah.
so different. Indoor super fast, beach is just super hard.
Yeah.
So it's just cool. And then finally, my senior year of high school, my mom let me play football. I played flag my whole life because that was the only thing I was allowed to play.
Right.
And but I loved it. So just literally anything with the ball, anything I can do to play sports or whatever. And so
Drives that competitive part too.
it does. And so the mixture of how I grew up, having to get to know people really easy, and then being parts of lots of different teams and having to make friends and maybe be a leader on a team, or what a lot of times I wasn't like the most athletic, but I always tried really hard. Then I was like the glue guy. A lot of
Right.
times, a couple articles in the paper written about me in high school about without him, the whole team falls apart.
Sure.
Even though he's not the college #1 recruit or whatever, right? So being that, it just naturally flowed right into sales
Oh,
and
yeah, of
right
course.
into either customer service or sales.
Right.
Those were the two avenues I knew that I was going to do. I thought about doing the Air Force, didn't end up doing that. Being a pilot would have been kind of cool, but I think that'd be a little lonely for my personality, up in a plane by yourself, you know?
Right.
So growing up with that and just loving this area and all that stuff is kind of how I transitioned into a love for real estate.
Right.
And it just kind of fits. It just falls into place.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, so John, we're going to cover some subjects with John today, but it's mostly going to be, real estate centered, and he's actually going into, well, actually, when this video gets published, he'll be done with Ninja, but John's going into Ninja training. If anybody doesn't know what Ninja is, it's really comprehensive course on how we like to run our company and our offices and how our agents. It's just it's a fantastic way for lead generation and for real estate lifestyle, really.
Yeah. It's a complete system.
It's a cheesy
soup to
name,
nuts.
but
it is. Oh, come on now.
I know.
I mean, y'all did sports. I did karate.
Yeah. Oh, true.
I did karate from 10 years old until 30 something, right?
Yeah.
So you always wanted to be a ninja.
I was a damn ninja. No,
Oh.
I still got the mask at the house. Just kidding.
You were a gardener as a
Tammy,
assistant.
Easy. Different mask. There's no breaking games happening.
Oh God.
but
That might. Nice.
he can edit it. If he doesn't think it's
We need to
appropriate,
break
take
out
it
the
out.
beard.
Make us feel better.
Yeah.
But so I mean I did karate the whole time. So but the ninja selling system, that wasn't, the name wasn't what attracted me, right?
Okay.
I mean it was the relationship side, exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's a system for making sure that people have the connection long before they have a real estate need,
Right.
which is critical now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in today's technology age with everything that's going on.
The intrusion is the intrusion in that lead part of that relationship. You gotta be there ahead of time.
Absolutely.
Got to be delivering value long before that.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be great because, like a ninja, you're silent but deadly, right? So you're just going through life, and if you have all these tools that you're building and you're building relationships, then it just all comes back to you. Because the power seller that you have in a lot of insurance companies or the guys at the kiosk in the mall turn people off a lot of times.
Right.
And that personality type or that, going
Yeah, hard
after
sale.
that hard sale is just it's just rough.
Right.
And I've had to do that before because that's what a job required, and it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
The issue with that type of selling, and for some people it works, but the issue with that type of hard sales is that is a short-term model.
Right.
Typically, with that type of model, you're trying to get people to sign up for something less financially risk tolerant, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So with a house sale, that's why we're talking about Ninja. Ninja's all about relationship driven stuff before you ever go for the house sale portion of it. But you could never. I wouldn't want, if I owned a Verizon store, let's say, people to do Ninja in a Verizon store, because all they're doing is gabbing with the people that come in all day and saying, hey, listen, I want to make sure you're comfortable, but, buying a cell phone today is probably not what you should do.
Yeah. Right.
If I'm the manager, I'm going, what are you doing?
because it's not that important of a sale.
Correct.
Right?
Right.
I mean, so if you buy the wrong phone, shit, you can go to the next kiosk a week later, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
whatever.
You don't get to trade your house in that same way,
Right.
So the best way that I explain Ninja whenever I'm if I'm giving a 2-minute spiel on it is when someone decides, and I've mentioned this before, when someone decides they want to buy a house, it's right here. When they actually close, it's right here.
Yeah.
A lot of real estate people are taught that this is whenever the transaction begins, and the reality is it's not.
Right.
And so if you don't have all of that information right here, it's not that this person can't buy a house. If you don't have all of that information right there, the house that they end up with might not be the right one.
Right.
Yeah.
It might not be the right decision for them.
That's right.
So you going back and understanding all of this is difficult to do. So the best way to solve for that is before they get to this point.
Start over here.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And
I like
deliver
it.
value, and then when the time is right, if they want to use you, wonderful. If they don't want to use you, you've still delivered value. You got to be okay with that part of it.
Yeah.
You've delivered value, but that way when they get right here, they're not getting rushed into that decision, because you can't go to the next kiosk and just trade in that house.
Exactly.
So
one
that's
thing
my
I want to
2-minute
talk
version.
to you about, so this flows right into Ninja, and it's a good segue. It is talking about your sports history, and John and I met yesterday just for a little bit, kind of touching base, because we're meeting weekly just to kind of, get the
Coaching,
creative juices flowing and all that. But I wanted him to go through Ninja first before we really went in depth, because I feel like it would be, counter, productive.
It's a great system, yeah.
But using your sports towards your real estate career, I think, is going to be something that you're going to start to develop. So I would really like to see you start to use your athleticism and athletic background to build a base for real estate.
You did that a lot with yours.
Yeah.
I mean, you did that with golf, right? You didn't
100%.
play golf before you got right.
No.
And so that allowed him those connections, and I'm sure y'all talked about this, but this
Yeah.
is important for everybody out there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, part of that for me too is I did play sports at a high level.
Yeah.
And now getting older, having a few knee injuries or back injuries or whatever, and gaining a little weight. Sorry, guys. But I'm right now. I realize that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I could actually use sports, whether it be basketball at Safe Harbor Rec or golf or flag football league. But right now, my body's not up to it.
Yeah.
Right. So the past few months, and now I'm really going at it hard, is just trying to get my body back to a high performance level.
Right.
So not eating the crap, not drinking soda,
Yeah.
not just eating Cheez-Its all the time or whatever it is,
Whatever.
ice cream. So that I did realize, and I
Yeah.
really wanted to get back into it, because a lot of times in sports, if you don't have to be the best player on the team to get respect, but if you can last a long time, you're not winded after 2 minutes, it helps a little bit to
Effort
be
and
more
attitude.
noticed.
Yeah.
Right. So if you have good attitude, like you said, good effort, yeah, you can earn respect on a team and make friends and leagues, or friends on other teams or whatever.
There you go.
And that's key.
And so the effort and attitude thing, that the reason why that's critical is because if they're going to do a real estate transaction with you, and you're showing on the field that you're not giving up, and you're showing on the field that you got a good attitude about, that's who they want to be around for something as important as that,
100%.
right?
That's why I love golf so much, is because it exposes who you are to the core
And that's
right
why I
away.
don't play. You only got so many 500s you can throw in the water before people want to do real estate with you.
Yeah.
Touche.
Yeah.
No, you know a lot about a person when you play around and golf with them.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
people who don't play golf or have never played golf or don't have interest in it, totally get it. But, you're also looking, into something that you don't really understand about. Now, I was the guy on the outside who was the athletic person, right? And I'm like, soccer, baseball, football, that's a real, that's a real sport.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, golf's for sissies. That's what old white dudes play, right?
Right.
And then you go on the other side and you actually start playing, you start getting good at it, and then you start getting, whatever. But that's my little 2 cents about golf.
Trim
but
and shave and
It's
better
awesome.
and be consistent and all of that.
Golf's a different sport now, though. I mean,
it
you look
totally
at
is.
the pros, you look at Dustin Johnson. I mean, it all started with Tiger.
Yeah.
Being in shape and athletic and playing golf. I mean, it went from like John Daly to Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
And Tiger changed everything.
Yeah.
And so for us, growing up with
Average
Tiger,
age dropped
Oh,
at
ton.
that point.
a ton.
all the new talent coming in is unreal.
Yeah, so you have guys like Tiger and Dustin that are crazy in shape and crush the ball,
Brooks.
right? And you got guys like Bubba who just is crazy and likes to have fun outside the golf course and is not your normal country club guy.
He's from Georgia.
He's from Georgia.
Kevin
so,
Kisner,
Yeah.
he's from Georgia. That dude is a wild man.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I
that's
love
Georgia,
him
man.
though. Yeah.
golf's more fun. And I love golf.
Yeah.
I'm not good at golf, but I love golf.
Yeah.
And
See,
so
I
I'm
gotta
right there
blame
with
all
you.
that on Happy Gilmore.
Ruined it for you?
I think that's what changed the whole game is Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Chubb's getting his hand off,
I love that movie still to this day. I love it.
and him, Happy just going to his happy place, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Riding the
exactly.
bicycle, drinking some beer.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Hockey stick putter.
That's right.
No, what's
Go on,
funny
ball.
about that is like, with golf and the same thing with life and in business is that you can always get better. There's
Right.
always a place in your life and in your career where you can get better and you can become better. Right, 1%.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's probably why I'm addicted to it so much. Is that there's always a challenge.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, I mean, golf, there's always people better than you, especially
Yeah.
if we're not
Yeah.
pros,
Right.
right? So we can literally always get better and,
So
and
cool.
never reach the top, which keeps you coming back.
Well, it seems to me, and I don't know for sure, I could be wrong about this, but golf and like karate and tennis and all that kind of stuff, you are with yourself with a group of people,
That's a great way to put it.
and so you're really competing with yourself. And that's what I liked about the karate was you were always competing with yourself. It
You're
wasn't.
right.
It was never against everybody else. If you tried
Yep.
to compete with other people, I mean. Athletic ability comes so much into so many sports, right? And so
Right.
if you try to side by side with people, they'll in a team they'll compartmentalize you with what your abilities are. You're the whole team in those sports. In golf, you are the whole team, right?
Yeah.
You're there with people, but you're an individual with a team,
Right.
Right.
Instead of what it seems like with other team sports,
Oh, absolutely.
And I like that whenever I was growing up.
Yeah.
Even the Ryder Cup,
Yeah.
it's a team, but it's all you. It's
You
not
gotta
like
perform.
Right.
it's not like somebody's doing irons, the other person's driving. No, you're
Yeah.
doing the whole deal.
Right.
It's cool. But that's a huge difference from, like you said, solo sports versus team sports.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
being able to play both growing up,
Mhm.
it sets you up good.
Yeah.
Because with ninja selling and stuff, you have to work alone, but you have to also know how to work as a team.
Yeah.
And if you can't work as a team, if you're like the showboat, oh, give me the ball, or
Yeah.
Keyshawn Johnson type player, right?
Right.
It's not going to work.
Right.
Because then that attitude translates to your customers, and then
Absolutely.
it just doesn't flow.
So that's actually a great segue. And we'll not get really far off into this, but some people getting into real estate, or some people that have been in real estate a while, they're trying to find their place, and they really would be good on a team versus being an individual player.
Right.
And so, one of the things on, whenever I'm talking to people and they're trying to decide, whether they want to be part of a team or whether they want to do it themselves or they want to adapt their business or, so one of the things that I look at is an agent has to be good at prospecting, pre-qualifying, presenting, right?
Yep.
Administrative stuff can be handed off, but they have to be good at, that's 80% of your day, right? Pareto Principle again.
Yeah.
So with that 80%, if you're with a team, if you're an individual and you refuse to do one of those, you refuse to get better at one of those, you're not going to make it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay? But if you join a team, the team can supplement one of the three of those things for you, and then the growth can be for you and the team can be exponential.
Yep.
Sports are the same way, right? You don't have to be the fastest runner to be good on a football team if you can
Right.
knock the crap out of somebody whenever you hit, or if
Right.
you can throw the ball. Peyton Manning, we talked about him.
Yeah.
He's like a giraffe that can throw a football, right? So there's but
That's
he
terrible.
can't run and all that kind of stuff. But he is surgical throwing the ball and reading the defense. So in a team sport, that's kind of the thing. So if somebody out there is contemplating, if you're struggling on a certain part of your business and you're really good at the other parts of your business, it might be time to look at a team. Talk to your managing broker, talk to whoever, have a conversation of whether you're missing one of those things, and maybe a team would be something that would be great for you.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest reason to join a team.
Yeah.
Here's where teams end up with an issue, in my opinion. Then we'll get off of this. If everybody is good at prospecting, pre-qualifying, and presenting on the team, and everybody is good at their administrative work, and they're all working together, that
Too
team
many
isn't going to
chiefs.
last. That's right. You're going to end up with a culture that is fragmented, which is a very difficult thing for a team to do. Now, you can combine all of those things so you get the best numbers,
Right.
but that's when that shock blast comes out of out of nowhere, and all of a sudden the team splinters. It was doing 80 million and then drops down to 22 million or 30 million because 4 of the people went over here and one person decided to be their own, and the team lead
Right.
was stuck with whatever. So if you think that you're good at those things and you're contemplating getting onto a team, hopefully that's something that'll help you out.
Yeah, I think knowing your personality helps too. I
Oh.
mean, especially when
Oh,
you're
yeah.
joining a team.
Absolutely.
Or if you're building a team.
Absolutely.
Like we're doing at the Drive team, we're building a team and we're trying to structure a team. So we would love for people to come in and take a strength finders test.
Yep.
Right? Just to see for them and for us
Right.
if they will fit in this atmosphere.
Right.
So
Agree.
if we have too many people that are just the same, then it's not going to work.
Right.
Just like Matt said, it's going to splinter and break off, and then all your hard work goes down the drain, right?
Yeah.
So we really want to look for the right fit. So we're not going to just go out there and just recruit and try to get as many people as possible on the team. We want the right people. And I
Right.
think that's kind of what you're hitting on. It's on a team, it's all about the right people.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Completely
selecting
agree.
a broker too. It's all
Yeah,
about
it is.
the right person and the right team and the right fit
100%.
for you too. So that's part of it. And I think
100%.
that all goes together.
Right.
So one thing I'll go back to here is like I'd really, really love to see you, like I said, embrace that athletic background of yours and use that for your business, not for the main intention of it, but
Right.
I got into coaching soccer, youth soccer.
Awesome.
What a great way to meet a whole bunch of people in that community. I mean, and then all of a sudden, you're doing it for the right reasons and it's enriching because of that, and the list goes on. So, I'd love to see you get into, some sports coaching.
Coach from the sideline with the parents, or coach from the? Oh, do you mean on the bench? with
Coach.
Oh, coach. Oh,
You're the
yeah,
head
yeah.
coach. You're the manager.
I was, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't do it this year, but yeah, for a long, long time I did a lot of youth soccer coaching, and that would be something that I think would really help you business wise, and then, pop into,
How many people can you help too? Because having the right coach with the right mindset that's there for the right reason, that's all the difference in the world, man.
Yeah.
That's huge.
The head coach for Calvary's football team actually goes to the church with me, and
nice.
I've done a couple. I've preached at practices and stuff like that, and that's fun. I
Yeah.
love it. I love going to the games. I hang out with them. I'll go to their practices every now and again.
Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
that kind of stuff, like getting on a football staff or basketball, would probably be better because
Yeah.
that's more my mentality. I
Well,
don't
do
know
that.
as much about football, but soccer and basketball, being on a staff,
Oh,
Do
yeah.
that'd be great.
Do
That'd
it.
be so fun.
Like yesterday, that's huge.
yeah, that's, I think it's to be,
Yeah.
something that you do for sure.
And you're gonna love doing it.
Yeah.
Anytime that you can put your passion into what you're doing,
Great
and
way.
you're just you're gonna love the byproduct that comes from it, which is the business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. All right, so you got into real estate. You were doing some sales stuff before that. What was really the driver that made you want to get into real estate?
The sales I've done before, I was a manager of a surf shop, so that's retail sales.
Oh,
It's
cool.
pretty simple. It's not too in depth. I mean, we had some good sales training, but it wasn't quite challenging enough, right? So then I went to industrial sales, and with the industrial sales, I started inside sales on the phones all the time, and so I just wanted to move up, and I finally hit the outside sales guy. When I got to that point, as high as I could go.
Yeah.
Right.
I couldn't do anything else. So I was like, I want to try something new.
Right.
And so I tried, I know the Flammers from Carl Flammer Ford in Tarpon Springs.
Yeah.
Hey guys, if you ever watch this,
Grant.
great family.
Yep.
Megan and Grant and are doing a great job running that dealership. And I enjoyed it for a while, but it just wasn't for me.
Right.
I'm a Ford guy, so I know you drive a truck, and so it was a good fit, and it worked for a while, but it's more of the hard sell, and that's not really what I was really focused in. So I finished my degree because it's something that was just kind of one of those things like, hey, you have like 5 classes, just go get it done. So I finished that, got my degree, and I was like, what is it that is something that I love to do?
Yeah.
And real estate came up a bunch of times, and it wasn't until Jason and Ben approached me and said that they had this opportunity to work with Berkshire, and I was like, let's do it. Let's give it a whirl. I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't know if I definitely love it. All the pieces are there, and now that I'm in it, I do love it. So it was a good choice, and something I wish I would have done 5 years before.
We
You know what I
also say
mean?
that.
Yeah, so many people run into that. As soon as they hit their stride, they're like, oh man, I could be so much farther ahead. Taking those first steps are tough though.
Yeah.
They are.
I mean, it's
Whole
scary.
leap of faith.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of things, a lot of like money out and things out and learning before you start making money.
Yeah,
So
paying it forward, yeah.
it's you're building a foundation. So I'm able to see that. Some people don't. That's why a lot of realtors don't stay. But it is kind of daunting at first, especially with spouses. For all you guys out there,
Yeah.
make sure you communicate with your spouse about what's happening and what's going on, because if they don't see it, or they don't see your passion every day, because they see you more than anybody else, then they might start to feel like, uh-oh, this was the wrong decision. But if you show them, hey, this is a passion, this is something I love, this is something that's going to do X, Y, and Z for us in 10 years. Like my wife and I want to have a house in Michigan where she's from and a house here. And this is an avenue that we can do that. And we can
Very visible that you
live in both places. We can have residences in both places. So what I keep reminding her is, hey, this is our dream, and this is how we're going to get there.
Right.
And that helps with the
because
beginning.
a lot of people see the hours that you put in and everything, and they try to equate that to money.
Right.
I put the hours in, so that means you're working a job, right, instead of running a business, and they look at it like you've done this many hours, so there should be this much pay associated with it, and instead you're still writing checks.
Yeah.
You're still
you're
getting things done, and then you get that first check, and it was a $40,000 condo that nobody else wanted to deal with, right?
Yeah.
And so you ended up having to pay $300 for a home warranty that you forgot on the contract.
Right.
So all those things add up, and you're like, oh my gosh, and then that's the equation. This many hours equal plus this much of this equal $812, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, oh my gosh. So that's a fantastic point to make sure you keep those lines of communication open.
Absolutely.
You brought up 2 really good points right there when you were talking, and one of them was that you brought up your why, and you're always dangling what you want.
Huge.
And what you see your life being in the future. So that is always going to be a catapult for you. But the beauty of real estate, truly, 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 and to me, I love this part of it, is that you have uncapped potential on how much you earn.
100%.
And what you can do in the business, because it's not all about the money. But I just remember getting into real estate when all my friends were going into different corporate jobs and getting salary XYZ, and they're capping out at, let's just say, $45,000, and I was like, oh my God, there's a potential for me to make that in one deal. And I, like that, to me, when I first started, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And that type of business that you can be in, that you can just go in every day and knock shit out of the park is so, like, it still gets me going, man. It's just cool.
Yeah.
Like the possibilities are endless, right?
And the doors that it opens on other things. So you talked about having a house and being able to work there, getting your license there and dealing with some people there, and still having a sphere of influence in business here. That's huge. Not every business allows you to be able to do that.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so you can be there and still working on deals here if if your business is structured well enough. All of those things are huge pluses on real estate, but you have to be intentional with what you're trying to accomplish.
That's right.
And like you said, and like Justin brought up, great point. If you have that why on those tough days, it allows you to stay focused enough so that you get through those crappy days.
Yeah.
Being consistent and doing what you're supposed to do, even when it goes shitty, is so critically important.
Yep.
Effort and attitude, just like we talked about with the sports.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right.
effort and attitude is the only things you can control on a daily basis.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Because I promise you, real estate's going to spin out of control.
Right when you think you got it.
It's driving into an ice storm
Yeah.
with
Oh,
bald
gosh.
tires and
Yeah.
no brakes.
Yeah.
That's real estate sometimes.
No, it
It
really
can-
it can
it
be
can-
that way.
Yeah.
I
You
agree.
know. What's all right, so you're in real estate, you've been in real estate for a little bit now. You know, what do you envision moving forward? What do you want to see with your career? Where do you want this to take you?
That's a tough question, to be honest with you, because in real estate, 1 in 6 or 1 in 7 people in Florida have a real estate license, right? So you're hearing a lot of bad and a lot of good from a lot of different sides. So whether it be some people say, oh, don't ever become a broker, it's not worth it, or something like that, or some people are like, just be a top sales agent. So you hear both sides all the time. So for me, I think it's an individual decision,
I
right?
agree.
So you guys both chose to be brokers, which is a great decision for you. There are some top sales agents that don't have the leadership type personality to
Yeah.
lead a team as a broker. They're just really good with meeting people,
Sure.
right? So for me, I want to see if over the next few years how it develops and how I develop as a real estate agent and a realtor to, hey, is broker the right way to go, or is a team lead for a good team the way to go? And so for me, I know
That's a good answer.
leadership.
Yeah.
Leadership for me is a huge thing. It's something I've always loved. So it's going to be a leadership role, whether it just be a team lead, I say
Sure.
just, but whether it be a team lead or a broker, that's the goal. Because not only am I wanting to help just people find homes, but I want to help other people build a business and flourish, because you don't know what's going to
Sure.
happen. The
Right.
untapped potential should be, so everybody should be able to do it, right? So not everybody can be a realtor, but I mean, everybody should have the opportunity to win.
Right.
And that's kind of where the focus lies. Does that make
You know
sense?
why I like that answer so much is because you didn't shut any doors.
Yeah.
And I was guilty of this when people asked me that question when I first started, and I said, you know, this direct route, that's exactly what I'm doing. But the problem with that is that you miss opportunity.
Yeah.
And I like your answer because you're going to be open to opportunity regardless of where it comes from.
Right.
His answer is tied to something he said earlier in the conversation too, though. So has a lot to do with his personality,
Yeah.
right? So your personality kind of led you in the direction of that answer. And my personality would lead me in the direction of that answer, and that's what his personality did. So you mentioned strength finders. Whether it's a disc profile, whether it's True Colors,
Enneagram.
That's right. So
Yeah.
there's just a ton of different. I would absolutely urge, if somebody has not done a personality profile, I think
Yeah.
pretty much everybody has these days.
Yeah.
But if you haven't, you need to go do one. And there are
Absolutely.
some that are more specific to real estate and everything. But I would just get a general one done. And if you're planning on working with somebody, absolutely positively, you need to make sure that they have one done, right?
Yes.
And so part of what you're saying is you wanting to be in that leadership role has everything to do with your personality.
Yep.
And you're right. There are some people that are great sales agents that wouldn't make a great broker, and some great brokers that wouldn't be great sales agents. A lot of it has to do with personality. Some of it has to do with skill set, drive, vision. All those things all come into play. But all of that stems from what you said to start with, personality. Absolutely, I agree. It's a great answer.
Yeah, and with that, I'm leaning more towards team lead, right? Because you're talking about personality tests. Strength finders is a great one. That's the one we use. I just recently took the Enneagram because my wife loves that one, and I made her take strength finders. So
Right.
she's like, you need to take Enneagram.
Right.
And I was a number 2, which is a helper. So you can be a leader and be a helper,
Oh,
but you're
yeah.
also a great number 2.
Right.
So for me, as a team lead, I would be number 2 to Justin as my broker, right?
Right.
But I'd still be a lead.
Right.
So as far as personality fit, like you said, that's probably the best fit for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, even if I become a broker, there's always going to be Chris Stewart, right?
Right.
So I was always good being the glue guy, being the
Right.
guy on the team
Yeah.
that made
Makes sense.
everything work, but I don't have to have my name in the paper,
Right.
So we'll see. But
Yeah.
personality is
I love it.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Great answer.
No, it's so cool.
So tell me about so we always talk about charities that people are involved in and stuff like that. I know
Yes.
you're really involved with your church. We love that. So tell me a little bit about that. Being part of the community and everything. How's that? Other than the sports stuff, what do you do?
Well, before real estate, I was working at the church when I was finishing school because it was a part-time gig that I was already there already, and I could do it while I was going to school, and so that was a really cool experience to see from the inside how a church is structured and
Right.
all that stuff, and working with kids and adults all different ways. And
Especially
so
a church with a large population.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
our
Calvary's
church
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, Calvary's huge. That's where I went to high school. Where I go to church is the chapel in Tarpon
Okay.
Springs,
Okay.
and it's a 9-year-old church, and they have like 30% growth every year, year
Wow,
after year.
nice.
So it's growing, and the growing pains
Uh-huh.
kind of
Yeah.
what you can see and you can be taught. So with me, I would love for real estate to be super successful, super fast, and just work really hard. And so to see a church that grows at a more
Right.
rapid pace than anywhere else, right? That you can see the growing pains, and I learned a lot.
Yeah. I bet.
Nowadays, I mean, me and my wife both lead Bible studies, so we're still involved at the church, and my dad's on staff at that church too. So we're very deeply involved in our church.
Right.
And then aside from that, Safety Harbor as a community, like I said, I'm biased about Safety Harbor. I'll go down to
Nice.
Third Fridays. I love to be just in it and involved
Right.
with Safety Harbor. So it's just for me, community has always been my soapbox.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's another reason why teams for me were so fun. But if you don't live in community, if you don't have friends and family around you to help you in the low times, you're not going to be successful.
Yeah,
I
agreed.
mean, you can work as hard as you want, you can be as driven as you want, but unless you have a community around you, you're not going to reach your full potential.
Yeah.
And so that's always been my soapbox, and that's what I preach with having small groups outside of church and stuff like that.
So I 100% agree with that. I'm going to extrapolate that to the real estate part. Okay.
Awesome.
So we talk about people geographically farming all the time, right? And so you can send all the postcards you want. You can make all the calls to the neighborhood that you want, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And you can live there and send that stuff. But if you're not engaged and somebody else comes along and is engaged,
You're toast.
you are. It doesn't matter. They're going to knock you out of the saddle.
Yeah.
Somebody that goes in there and cares about what's going on and is picking up food for Metropolitan Ministries, being part of the neighborhood dog walk and is, there with candy on at Halloween and all
Right.
of that stuff.
That's right.
And that wants to be there. This is the key thing. You can't fake that shit. You have to want to be there. You got to want to talk to people. You got to want to drive around in the golf cart at Halloween and hand out boxes of wine or whatever it is that you do. All of those things about enjoying being part of that. If you do that, plus be part of the real estate community there, no one's ever
Guaranteed.
going to knock you out of the saddle.
Guaranteed success.
Right.
That's right.
But the people that come into 15 neighborhoods and they call and they've got somebody burning up the phone and they've got somebody sending out the postcards and then they're 800 signs for an open house, but they don't care about it. That community will use them until someone that cares comes along.
Yeah.
And they will kick that BS part of it to the curb.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what we talked about, right?
Right.
Where are you at whenever? And so that's huge. You're very involved in those. I absolutely love that, but I had to take it to the farming level to be really specific about that.
Here's the downfall of what when I first started out, I was similarly involved in a bunch of different programs in my community, but the problem is that I was a secret agent for a long time.
Yeah, can't
I
do
just thought that my personality and whatever it might be just might drive business my way. And the problem is, and what you're going to learn at Ninja is you got to put yourself out there and let people know what you do, what your purpose is, what your why is, and
Right.
that's all got to be a part of the mix. And you're going to learn that next week. But I caution you, with being so involved in your community, it's very easy to get involved in your community and be really well known. And 9 out of 10 people don't know you're a realtor.
Yeah,
Right.
very easy to
I
do.
was guilty of that.
Very easy to do. You're not the only one. And the reason why is, and I don't know if this was with you, but through coaching I hear this all the time. They're saying that they don't want to be that pushy salesperson.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a pushy salesperson, and so people ask me all the time, should I join BNI? Should I be part of the chamber? Should I be this and that and all? And I say, absolutely. If you love doing that and you can be present when you're there and you're not shy about helping and answering questions about real estate, absolutely, it's the best money and time that you'll spend.
Then boom.
If you're not going to be engaged in what's going on and all you're doing is going there and selling, they're going to shoot you down. You're not going to make it.
Yep.
Or the flip flop of that. If you go and you're really engaged, but you don't say anything about real estate, it's not going to be worth it.
Yeah.
You have to be present in both of those parts of that, which is what you're talking about, which is absolutely great advice.
Right, and I think that what's great about like what we have now, we have shirts, we have polos that say what we do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those are subtle ways that people know, oh, Berkshire Hathaway, oh, he's a real estate agent, right? So you can use those subtle ways that, hey, if you do something in the community,
Mm-hmm.
and if there's not like a community shirt that you're wearing, wear a real estate shirt.
Yeah.
Wear something that sets you apart, that shows who you are, right?
Right.
And then if you have a community of people that you do have a relationship with, everybody wants to share a win with you.
Yeah,
Everybody
agreed.
wants to share in
Completely
your
agree.
success and when you share in their success. So, yeah, you might not say, hey, I'm a real estate agent. If you need to buy a house, call me, right? You probably don't want to lead with that.
Right.
But, hey, guess what happened to me today?
Yeah, sure. It's like shopping local.
Right. I
that's
was able to find this young couple, their first house, their first time home buyers. They got a better deal than they ever expected, and it was such a great day.
That's
and
where social media
That's it.
will
Yeah.
explode it. That's where social media will absolutely explode that.
Right.
Right. And so, you know, taking advantage of that, when somebody sees somebody else that they know, like
Mm-hmm.
you, selling a house to somebody else they know, like a friend of theirs,
Right.
and everything went well and everybody's smiling at the closing table, people want to be part of that.
That's a catalyst, big
It
time.
is. If they're part of that community already and that doesn't happen, they want to feel more part of that community if they're truly connected. And if all you have to do is open the door and just wave and say, "You can come in if you want."
Good point.
And the next thing you know, they're coming in. But you got to get the word out about that.
Right.
It's got to be tactfully done.
Yeah.
You know, I look at some people's pages, and the only thing it says is, "I was at a closing today, I was at a listing today, I was at an open house today." People don't give a shit about that, right?
Right.
We all know that.
Right.
They want to know that you care. What's the saying, right? Once they know that you care, they'll care that you know, or something like that, whatever
Yeah.
it is. And so if you get that out there and you're in front of them with that, it's going to make all the difference in the world. And you're already connected with the community. You're like 50% there. You're already doing transactions.
Yeah.
You're already taking listings. You're already selling. You're right there on the cusp of all that.
You're just gonna like the more that starts to snowball, the more that people are attracted to you and to your sphere of influence. And geez, once you can get that attraction factor, and that'll be a part of Ninja, and that's also part of the book we're reading.
Yeah, Tomic.
Yeah, Atomic Habits is the attraction bit of it. Game changer.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm excited. I'm excited for Ninja.
Yeah.
We got some parting notes because I think we're about to run out on clip here.
Okay.
Favorite books. We didn't talk too much about your wife, so let's give
Sure.
a little shout out to your wife real quick.
All right.
How'd y'all meet?
Oh, that we want to go there.
Real quick.
Okay.
Give me the elevator speech.
Her cousin was one of my best friends, Rachel, and we met at Rachel's wedding.
Oh, cool.
So they had tried to set us up in the past.
On the dance floor or something?
Kind of. Actually, that's actually more accurate than you think.
Hey, girl.
Yeah. So they had tried to set us up. They had like said, "Hey, this is a great person for you." And when you get set up, you're like, "Forget it." And so we actually met like at the bar, basically saying, "Hey, oh, you're the person they've been trying to set me up for a
Right.
year." That's funny. That was just really annoying. And then we just kind of became friends after that. And a month later, she was living in Michigan at the time,
Right.
and I was living here. My dad would work for the airlines for a while, and I flew for free. So I was able to fly up there, and we hung out, and then just one thing after another.
Yeah.
Sweet.
One thing after
Yeah,
another. It
that's awesome.
became a
Great story.
actual relationship, and
Yeah.
we were dating for 3.5 years, and then got married. 5-year anniversary's coming up.
Oh,
So
congrats. Awesome.
it's been a whirlwind, but it was fun. She got me to Michigan for 3 years, and I'll never go back. Full time.
We gotta clip that part.
Full time, I'll never go back. The winter's terrible. Spring, fall, beautiful.
Shout out to Mrs. Gaiman.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's a nurse, Baycare, pediatric nurse at
Oh,
St.
nice.
Joe's Children's.
Yep.
She has a heart of gold, and she'll work. She's a worker. She is
Yeah,
such a hard
love it.
worker, and she's gonna be great for our kids one day to look up to.
Cool,
Yeah,
man.
good.
Appreciate that. All
That's
right,
good stuff.
couple books.
Oh gosh, Ninja is a great book that
Yeah.
I've started with going into the training.
Yeah.
Think and Grow Rich is a great book.
Yep.
That one seems to come up a lot.
It
That's a
does.
great book.
it
Yeah.
does.
What was Rich Dad? No,
Yeah.
Rich
Yeah.
Dad Poor Dad or
Yeah.
whatever it's called. That was a good, really, really good book. These are more books towards making money and stuff like that.
Right.
If we're, I off the top of my head, that's
Cool.
a tough
Yeah,
question.
That's all we need. Those are
some
good answers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, those are great books.
I have some great old books, but like Susie Orman and stuff like that too that are
Yeah.
good. I just don't remember the titles.
Yeah.
Hey, all good, man.
Yeah. Anything Susie Orman's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you on a Friday, on a rainy Friday.
Yeah.
Very rainy
Getting over
Friday.
here, and
Yeah.
hopefully the Bucks win tonight.
Oh gosh, that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really hope they win because
I
they
hope it doesn't
didn't.
rain.
They didn't.
It'd be a great Christmas present delivered by Santa Claus.
Yeah. We're gonna put a little caution on the video if we throw it up.
Oh gosh.
A circle. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, you ruined the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus.
Hey, don't get me started on the rest of the holidays.
All right, people. John Gammon, thank you for coming on.
Yep.
Where do the people find you, John?
At Tampa Bay Guy on Instagram, John Gammon, John Wesley Gammon on Facebook, or the Tribe Team on Facebook. I don't really dabble in Twitter or Snapchat, so Instagram is
So-
really the best.
So you also so you've got, y'all do really good on the lead gen side, right? So I know y'all are looking for some people. So if there's some agents that are contemplating and they want to expand their business,
Yeah,
Yeah,
good point.
absolutely. What the Tribe Team, the way Ben and Jason and I had structured it, is the Tribe is community. It's just another word for community. So that is our soapbox, like I mentioned earlier, and we just want to be a part of your life and we want you to be a part of our life. So
Right.
it doesn't matter if you're a real estate agent or not, but we're trying to form a tribe, a community of people that just like to hang out, like to get together, and like to spend
Nice.
time together. And if you're a real estate agent and you want to be a part of that too, come on by. We're fun, I promise. And we won't force you to do it because, like I said, personality matters. And if you're the
Yeah.
right fit,
Oh,
you're the right
absolutely.
fit. If you're not,
Yeah, all the way around.
You're not. I'm sorry.
And
So,
you got to sell.
Yeah.
yeah, you do
Yeah.
have to work.
Right. Yeah, it's still real estate.
Attitude and effort.
That's right.
Attitude and effort.
And they can control that. That's right. Good stuff.
All right, guys.
All right, guys. Now wrapping up another podcast Friday, right?
That's right.
Peace.
See you.